Hi everyone, today I want to talk about how giving up is actually a habit, something that we have learned um, throughout life, probably very early in life, that giving up is the easy way of doing things and we can usually get by with that. So this is usually not a thing that is present in one area. It's usually something that is present in many different areas in your life. So that is something that we are going to explore today and have a look at. And if you download a worksheet that I have attached below this video, or if you are watching this in the membership site, you can find it under the video and you can just download that and fill the worksheet in and just explore a little bit about what your giving up habits actually are. So I know I keep coming back to the same sort of attributes all over and over again, but in order to quit sugar or do anything, change any habit that you have, we need to stop. Hi everyone, welcome. This is the second video in November and I'm going to talk about how giving up is a habit. And for most of us, this is something that is present in many areas of our lives, not just when it comes to quitting sugar. So this is something that we're going to explore today, and if you want to download the worksheet, you will find a link to it under this video in the description. Or if you are watching in the membership site, you can find a download link right under the video. So I know I keep coming back to the same attributes, if you like, but in order to quit sugar or change any habit that you have in your life that you want to change, we need to have commitment, we need to have resilience, and we need to have self-belief that we can do this. So most of us don't actually actively work on these attributes. We just kind of hang back, we're waiting, we're letting time pass, and we hope that with time things will change, and with that change things will change for us and we will change somehow magically. I'm not really sure how that would work, but that's kind of how we're thinking. A lot of the time we just say, yeah, I will deal with that later on, or things might be different next year, but what is actually going to be different if you're not making a change? Probably not much. And I find it interesting how little action we take to get to where we want to go. I've told you before that I love learning new things, I love watching videos, I love listening to podcasts, audiobooks, and learning about all kind of things, but when it comes to actually taking action, I often can't be bothered. It's like I just want to curate all this information and then not do anything with it, because I don't really want to commit to making those changes. They're not important enough for me to actually want to change. It's too much effort. And you guys have proven to me that you are the same. So last week was the first week I actually made a worksheet that you could download. I just wanted to do this to see if there was any interest for you to actually do the work. And more than 100 people have watched the video, and I have had exactly 0 downloads from YouTube of this worksheet. Now, there might have been a few downloads on the membership site. I don't actually know because I can't see there how many people have actually done it. But either way, the percentage of people that are actually taking some sort of action and trying to start working towards changing their habits is very, very low. And the percentage of people that just want to listen and learn is actually quite high. So for me, I'm interested in many areas, but there are very few areas that I will take action in. And there might be the same for you. Maybe you are just watching these videos because it's entertainment and it's knowledge that you want to have, but you don't actually want to do something about it, and that's fine. But I'm just kind of pointing this out, that we as human beings are very lazy, if you like, and that is on purpose. We are designed that way. So where is this discrepancy? Why is it why is it that we're so interested and we spend so much time learning and listening, but we don't take any action? So my immediate response to that would be that it's easy to listen. Taking action, on the other hand, takes a lot of effort, and most of us want to avoid effort. Effort is uncomfortable, it takes time, even though we're happy to spend hours and hours just listening. But taking 10 minutes to fill in a worksheet and kind of think about it and do something feels like such a burden, and it feels like a really hard thing to do compared to just passively sitting and listening, because you can kind of zone out a little bit and just listen. So if you didn't think that I had anything useful to say, I imagine that you probably wouldn't be watching my videos. At least I hope so, because it doesn't make any sense for you to spend your time watching or listening to me if you think that what I'm saying is bullshit. So if that was the case, I imagine that you would just stop watching and go do something better with your time. So what I want to tell you is that commitment, resilience, and self-belief are actually skills that you can develop, but it requires action. So as I've already promised, I'm going to put worksheets out for every video this month. And just know I will be watching how many people are downloading it. Obviously I can't tell whether you're actually doing the work, but I will see if you're actually downloading it. So it's a little bit of a challenge for you. So the whole concept might feel a little bit out of grasp right now, but wouldn't it be super cool if you could develop these skills to get whatever it is that you want in your life? If you actually believed that you could do that as well. So if you could just on purpose actually change how you think and feel about quitting sugar, for example, or your job, or thoughts about yourself, your capabilities, about how you want to show up in life, you actually do have control over all of these, but it requires some sort of effort. It requires an action from you. So if you never develop new skills, you will stagnate, you will be stuck in life, nothing will change, and everything will be the same. So if you're happy with your life right now, fine. You don't have to do anything. Just plod along and be happy where you are. But if you want some sort of change, as in for me, I don't want to eat sugar ever again. I'm not quite there yet. But I am learning to get there. I'm getting more and more control over what I'm doing, and I'm learning new things about myself constantly, and how my lower brain wants to cheat and talk me into eating sugar even when I've said I shouldn't, or if I said I am going to have some sort of sugar today, it wants to cheat anyway, and it wants to eat more or at different times or whatever it is. And it's hard work. It really, really is. So it would be easy for me to just quit, but I haven't really got there yet, and that's fine. I'm kind of okay with that process. So the only way to actually move forward is to change something, and to be able to do that, you need to be willing to put some effort in, and it will not just happen because you're thinking about it. I'm afraid that's too easy. It's never going to happen. So there is this thing called the motivational triad. You may have heard about it, you may not have heard about it. So basically what that means is that we have evolved to avoid pain, seek pleasure, and conserve energy. That's the three ones. So evolutionarily that meant that we are increasing our offspring's survival by doing these things. And today it's pretty much keeping us imprisoned and unfulfilled, because it's holding us back from doing things that are out of our comfort zone. So it always needs to be a conscious decision when you're doing that. So naturally we want to conserve our energy by buying convenience food. We don't have to cook. Brilliant, it tastes good. It gives us pleasure because it tastes amazing with all the added sugars and the right amount of fat and salt and sugar and all the engineering that has gone into making these kind of foods taste as pleasurable as possible. That's how we do it. And at the same time, it helps us avoid feeling negative emotions because we're getting this dopamine hit and we're feeling good in the moment. So all kind of processed foods are actually filling this spot. The whole motivational triad. We can avoid the pain. We're seeking pleasure, obviously, because we're getting pleasure from eating it. And we also conserve our energy. We don't have to put energy into cooking or anything. We can literally order someone to come and deliver it to our door. We have to get up from the sofa and get it at the door, but then we can just sit down again, and that's all good. So it's perfect. There's just one catch. We will get fat, we will get sick, and we will get depressed from doing it because it's very unfulfilling. It's a false pleasure. It's not something that will keep us happy over time. We need, most people anyway, need some sort of challenge, and we need to have goals and something to strive towards and achieve, and then we will feel true happiness. And for some people, if you are just really content with life and you don't have those kind of things, maybe you are more of a nature person and you just love living where you live. If you live out in the countryside and you're just really grateful for where you are and you can appreciate the nature and everything that comes with that, maybe that's what is giving you pleasure. But for most people, there's some sort of achievement involved in getting this real sort of pleasure. So basically, we are wired for self-sabotage. This is how we are designed. So until we understand how these primitive drives betray us in our daily lives and then learn how to work around it, we will continue doing it. So if you always think that you are giving up on things, you're probably right. Whether that is quitting sugar or something else, doesn't really matter. It's usually a trend that is going through everything that we do in our lives. And because we are wired to choose the easy path that gives us the most reward in the moment, it's a habit that we develop early in life. So when we are giving up, it's really just our habit of doing things the easy way. It's the way of, when we're doing things in the easy way, we are avoiding that pain, but we're still getting the pleasure. And this is very quickly going to be a habit. So if we can get away with something, like just imagine as a kid, if you were never cheating, you wouldn't really know that you could get away with it, or maybe you just had different morale. It's fine. Personally, I wasn't cheating, but I know lots of people that were kind of cheating, and they weren't good at maths, for example, and they were asking me, how do you do this? And then they were looking at my answers, and rather than learning how to do it, they would just copy my answers and then hand in their homework. Not my problem. It's fine with me. I wanted to learn. But because this was easy, they would keep doing it, because they would still pass the class. Now, if they had got caught, I mean, this would come back and bite them in the tail one day when they would get to such a level where they can't do this anymore. But if you can get away with it, you will keep doing it. Your brain will think that is a brilliant idea. We're conserving a lot of energy this way, and we will keep doing it. So if you really truly want to change, you need to tell your lower brain that it's no longer useful, and the only time it's actually useful is when we are truly in danger, when we need to really flee from whatever is threatening our lives, or potentially, when we are on autopilot brushing our teeth or something like that. But really, our lower brain doesn't serve us as much in this kind of society as it used to do during evolution, when we didn't live such a comfortable life that we're doing today. So this is why we need to use our prefrontal cortex as much as possible to create more opportunities for us to change to get the results that we want. So just a quick reminder, the prefrontal cortex is the planning part of the brain that can anticipate future rewards. Okay? So every time we give up, we slow our progress down. You just need to keep that in mind. If you give up, it's going to take much longer before you get to your goal, even if you're starting again. So it's obviously better to not give up, because then you will get there quicker. So every time we give up, we get better at giving up, and we also get better at justifying why we give up. The good news is that in order for you to give up, you must at some point have started. So you clearly want to do this, but you are much more skilled at giving up than you are at staying committed, which is a shame, obviously. But you can change that. It's not set in stone. It will not always be like that. It just has been like that. It doesn't determine anything about your future, because you can choose. So that's totally okay. Now when you know that it's a skill, you can practice the opposite skill, commitment, for example. So first we need to figure out why we keep giving up, because there's clearly some sort of benefit to giving up, despite the fact that you actually want to do something else. So what is this benefit? By giving up, you don't ever have to face failure, for example. Giving up is easy. It takes away the uncomfortable feeling of the challenges that you will have to face, for example. Failure is hard. I hate failure. I have always been very intelligent and bright, and that has put a lot of pressure on me, as in, because everyone seems to think that I'm so intelligent, I'm not allowed to fail. Everything I do should be perfect. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist, because I have grown up with everyone telling me how intelligent I am. So this is a little bit of a curse, because that lets me get away with doing very little because I can. So when things are getting really hard, I'm not used to putting that work in. And I'm afraid of failure, because my expectation, or other people's expectations on me, is that I am intelligent, so I should be doing everything really, really well. So if I'm failing, what does that tell me? That tells me that I'm not intelligent. This is totally irrational, but that's kind of how my brain would resonate. So many of us don't want to go there, for whatever reason that is. So the reason that you give up can obviously be something completely different. But all of us have a reason or some sort of justification for why we're giving up. And it's pretty much on autopilot. So we could, things that you probably heard yourself say many times, is that you're too stressed, there's too much going on at work, you went on holiday, it was someone's birthday, someone's wedding, it was a girl's night out, whatever. Things happen, life happened, those kind of things. So now I want to give you a challenging thought. If you are making a commitment, if you don't make a commitment to change, what you're actually doing is that you are making a commitment to staying the same. Yeah? So you're making a commitment to letting life happen to you without your input. And that to me is actually a very scary thought. It's like this chaos around me is totally deciding what is going to happen to me in my life. I do not like that. I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to myself and what I can do in my environment. I'm not controlling other people, but I'm controlling of myself, and I don't like being out of control. So that is a very scary thought to me. I really like to have some input into my life and where I'm going. So I really don't want this to happen. So this is why you need your why that we talked about last week. And if you didn't watch that video, you can just go back and watch that one. If there is no why, you won't be able to change a habit because you don't have a reason to. So when you truly commit to something, giving up is actually no longer an option. You remove this as an option altogether. Now imagine that. You can't do it anymore. You say, I'm quitting sugar, you can't eat sugar. It's not an option. For most of us, it's just brain error, what? Of course I can. I can always choose to do it again. But then you're not truly committed, are you? I am committed to being in control of me eating sugar, when I'm doing it, when I'm not doing it, and managing my cravings. That's what I'm committed to right now. And why have I not committed to never eating sugar again? Probably because I'm not truly confident that I can do it, and I don't want to fail. But I'm still working on that, one day. So this is where you will have to increase the effort that you are putting in, maybe find another way of getting there or changing your strategy, but you're not giving up because giving up is not an option. Yeah? It's unthinkable. So you need to know that what your justifications are. What does your giving up look like? A lot of the things, it could be like we're blaming the process or the program that you're following. So if you are watching me on YouTube and you're trying to do it the way that I'm telling you to do it and you fail, you might be blaming me, or my methods don't work, or whatever that might be. Or you have joined some group program and you're trying to follow that and it doesn't work, you're blaming that. Maybe you're just allowing yourself to be unconscious and not paying attention, and you say, oh, it just happened. I don't know how it happened, it just happened. Somehow my hand just magically went to the mouth with that cinnamon roll or whatever. It happened. I don't know how. It wasn't my fault because I don't know how. I didn't think about it. You might be telling yourself that you're too busy or too tired to follow through. That's a very, very common one. We come home after work, we're really tired. We had a really stressful day, the boss has been nagging, your colleagues are assholes, and you just don't have any energy for anything, and all you want to do is comfort eat. Very common. It's too hard or too complicated. I've told myself that a billion times. It's too hard. I don't know how to do it. And the allowing yourself to be confused about the process. That's me. I'm confused and it's too hard. I don't know how to do it. It's too hard. That sounds exactly like me many, many times. So for many of you, it's not the first time you're trying to quit sugar. Most of us have a pattern of committing to quitting sugar, and then we give up, and then we lose hope, and we beat ourselves up about it, and then we commit again, and the cycle starts over. And we do it over and over again on a regular basis, whether that being months or years, but it just goes around in this circle. So when we commit, we feel pretty good. We're like, now I'm going to do it, and I feel great. It's finally going to happen. And then all of a sudden we give up. And we actually feel good about giving up in the moment. We feel relief. The pressure is off. We no longer have to face the failure of not actually succeeding because we gave up, so we can't fail anymore. That's brilliant. That's a super good tactic. And then after a while we start thinking that it's never gonna happen. I just can't do it. I'm so lousy. Why is it just me? Why can't I do what everyone else can do? Because everyone else can obviously quit sugar. It's just me. I'm being weak. I'm being useless. All those thoughts. And we feel terrible. Because who wouldn't if someone was calling you those kind of things? So giving up feels like some sort of self-care. Like we're protecting ourselves from this failure that we know is going to come because we don't trust ourselves. And we're protecting ourselves from the emotional hardship of actually going through the whole process of quitting. So we do this because we want to avoid the pain, and it will make sense. Motivational trial. Avoid pain, seek pleasure, and conserve energy. Does any of this sound familiar? I imagine so. Maybe not exactly the way that I've experienced it, but I think pretty similar. And when we put it like this, if you're looking from the outside and you're just looking at the person doing this, I'm gonna quit, and then, oh, I failed, or I gave up, and then you beat yourself up about it, and you do it again and again. It just looks like madness. It's crazy. So what's the problem here? Why don't we just commit and do it? Why is it that it's so bloody hard to do? Because actually, all we have to do is not eating the sweets. It's really easy to just not put it in your mouth if you're paying attention, if you don't allow yourself to go unconscious and do it, or unless you're sleepwalking or something. For some people, it's actually that they don't really want to do it. They think they do, but the reason that they don't actually want to do it is why they don't do it. For some of us, it's because we are unable to deal with the negative emotions that we have to deal with when we're trying to change a habit. And our why is not strong enough to carry us over that hump. But if giving up was not an option, what would you do? So you're in this scenario, you've committed to quitting sugar, giving up is not an option. Now, what do you do now? Can you embrace the discomfort in order to grow? Is that an option? Could you do that? Could you do that and survive and feel good about it? You don't even have to feel good about it, you just have to do it. Because change means that you will have to manage your mind and choose your thoughts on purpose. So you need to understand the motivational triad, and that you are actually going against your own nature by trying to change your life for the better in this kind of society that we're living in. You need to be able to manage your discomfort, and you need to refuse to be confused. Confusion is always an escape. It's never real. It's just something that we're making up so that we can get away from making a decision or going ahead with something. So you need to keep taking action and trying different actions to get different results. If you have tried one action and it doesn't really work, then you have to have a look at it and see why didn't it work, and then maybe try another thing, and another, and another, until you get there. But you can't give up, because that's not an option. You just have to keep going. So don't accept your own excuses and justifications. They are just that, excuses and justifications. We have so many of them. Or I was hungry, I was so tired, or someone brought me cake, I couldn't just throw it away. You can. It might be really uncomfortable to do that. Might go against your nature to throw something away that is pleasurable, full of energy, and someone spent money on that, and that's their way of showing their love for you, or whatever. Might be really uncomfortable. You can. It's entirely possible. You just take the cake, you put it in the bin, and that's it. Or you tell them that, sorry, I don't want it. You can eat it yourself if you want. Whatever you want to do. So this week, I want you to explore your giving up skills, basically. And to help you do this, I have prepared that worksheet. So you will find the link in the description to this video. You can download it from there, or you can go to the free membership site. If you're not a member yet and you want to become a member, you can just click the link a little bit further down in the description, which says join my free membership site. You will get access to all the worksheets and all the monthly videos under the November tab. And you can just have a look at them. It's easy to find them that way. So it's a bit long today, but that's fine. So from there, if you're doing this exercise and you want to share your results with me or have any questions, just feel free to reach out, post a comment under the video. You can send me an email if you want to keep it confidential, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I just appreciate your feedback and your communication, because I'm standing here talking to cameras. It's always nice when I hear back from you guys and you telling me that you appreciate something, or you tried something and it worked, or you have questions about something. I really appreciate that, and that makes it worth it for me anyway. So have a good week, and I will see you again next week. Bye.